A dim bathroom mirror reflects the horror of a student waking up to a terrible truth. Tyler Morgan was the kind of student who excelled at balancing academics and a vibrant social life. He had a tight-knit group of friends, a part-time job at the campus radio station, and an insatiable curiosity for local folklore. The rumor mill at Everwood University was always thriving, and one story in particular sent shivers down every freshman's spine: the kidnapped kidneys case. It was said that years ago, a student had woken up after a night of heavy drinking with horrific bandages on his back, only to discover that his kidneys had been surgically removed by an unseen predator in the darkness. No one ever saw the student again, and the campus administration chalked it up to an isolated incident, an improbable prank gone horribly wrong. But Tyler, intrigued by the mixture of fear and fascination in his classmates' voices, decided that he would uncover the truth. He believed that legends were fuel for the imagination, not real threats to worry about. But that belief would be tested on a brisk October night when he and his friends piled into a battered sedan and drove to a house party on Maple Avenue. The air was thick with laughter, the thump of bass, and the scent of spilled beer. The host, a senior known for throwing epic gatherings, welcomed Tyler and his buddies like old family. They crowded around a makeshift bar, raising plastic cups filled with amber liquid. As the night wore on, the dares escalated and the drinks flowed freely. Tyler felt a rush of exhilaration as he joined in. He lost track of time, of how many shots he'd downed, and of the frantic dancing circle that formed in the front yard. The last thing he remembered was hearing the faint click of a camera shutter and feeling a sharp prick on his arm. Then darkness swallowed him. When Tyler opened his eyes again, the world was foggy. He lay on a thin mattress in a windowless room, the walls stained and bare. Panic shot through his chest like an electric jolt. He rolled onto his back, and bright pain exploded in his sides. His hands moved down, brushing against two fresh, tight bandages that clung to his lower back. His pulse hammered in his ears. He tried to scream, but only a strangled croak escaped. There was no mirror to confirm his worst fear, but he knew, they'd taken his kidneys. The legend had come alive. Night of the party. When Tyler and his friends arrived at the sprawling Victorian house off Maple Avenue, the night air was crisp, every breath tinged with anticipation. Twinkling fairy lights hung from the front porch, and inside, music pulsed with a hypnotic rhythm that seemed to echo through the wooden walls. Students in hoodies and vintage tees gathered around tables stacked with red cups, and the scent of pizza mingled with spilled liquor. Tyler felt a surge of adrenaline. This was exactly the kind of story-worthy event he'd been waiting for. He waved at familiar faces: Liz, who worked in the library, and Marcus, the laid-back philosophy major. They all laughed when Tyler teased that this party would make or break his reputation as a fearless urban explorer. The host, an enigmatic figure known only as Chase, greeted Tyler with a grin and a welcome shot from a pristine glass vial. Tyler hesitated, but never one to back down. He tossed it back, feeling the liquid warmth spread from his throat to his chest. By midnight, the party had reached its peak. Floors slick with spilled drinks reverberated under the constant thump of bass. A group cornered Tyler with a drinking game that involved blindfolds and whispered dares. He accepted, oblivious to the consequences. As he caught the vial from a shivering senior named Rod, he felt a sudden jab near his shoulder blade, followed by numbness creeping down his arm. He shook it off as a prank, odd, unpleasant, but nothing serious. A camera flash lit the darkened room, then everything spiraled into void. The eerie corridor and surgical setup where Tyler first realizes something is terribly wrong. Tyler woke up in a haze, the first thing he noticed being the cold concrete beneath him. His vision blurred, he struggled to sit up. Voices murmured beyond a hallway door, muffled but urgent. Pain bloomed along his lower back, each pulse making his vision swim. He reached back and pressed his fingertips against the bandages, thick gauze, sealed at the edges with medical tape. Panic clawed at his chest. He pulled himself to standing, legs trembling like saplings in a storm. The corridor was silent, the walls painted in peeling beige. Footsteps echoed from a room down the hall. Tyler stumbled toward it, hoping for answers. The door swung open on a hinge so creaky it sounded like a howl. In the flickering fluorescent light, he saw a small desk, surgical tools laid out with icy precision. Vials of antiseptic lined a dusty shelf. His stomach lurched. Eyes stinging with tears, he realized his worst fear was real. This wasn't a prank, it was an operation. He staggered back into the hallway, buttressed against the wall, struggling to make sense of the horror unfolding around him. Somewhere, Someone was making money off his terrified screams. His mind raced, searching for the strength to escape, or at least find help, knowing every heartbeat could be his last if he couldn't move fast enough. Waking to horror, Tyler's next clear memory was the chunk of daylight slicing through a stained window. His body lay sprawled on a mattress, tangled in stained sheets. The pain in his sides was relentless, every shallow breath feeling like glass shards digging deeper into his flesh. He let out a harsh groan that echoed in the empty room. His heart pounded, adrenaline spiking. He couldn't stay here, he had to find out what happened. Pushing himself up on trembling arms, Tyler spotted a cracked cell phone near the door. He fumbled for it, hands slick with sweat. The screen lit up, showing messages, dozens of unread texts and missed calls from his roommate, Erica. The display read 7:32 a.m. How long had he been out? He tapped Erica's name and dialed, his voice cracking as he begged for help. There was no answer. Panic roiled in his chest. Tyler in the hospital, grappling with the realization that his kidneys have been surgically removed. Gathering what little strength he had, Tyler crawled to the door and eased it open. The hallway was silent. He crept down it, each step a mountain. At the end, he found a staircase leading to the ground floor. He descended inch by agonizing inch. The front door, cracked ajar, offered a sliver of pale morning light. Tyler clutched the frame and hauled himself outside into a chilly breeze that felt like relief and torture at once. The street was deserted. Leafless trees cast skeletal shadows on the cracked pavement. He staggered down the street, holding his sides, head spinning. His phone slipped from his pocket as he neared the campus gates. He collapsed under a lamppost, burying his face in his hands. Tears burned his eyes as he tried to piece together the fragments of the night before. The greenish gauze against his back convinced him the stories were true. His stomach churned. Someone had cut into him while he was helpless, stolen his organs like a predator in the night. Moments later, Erica's frantic voice broke the silence. She'd tracked him down and called for an ambulance. When the paramedics arrived, their faces darkened at the sight of his wounds. Tyler's words poured out in a trembling rush, "My kidneys, they're gone." In the emergency room, doctors confirmed it. 2 severe wounds suggested surgical removal. The hospital's sterile corridors felt like another labyrinth. Tyler's mind spun with questions. Who was behind this? Why him? The police interviewed him at length, their skepticism thinly veiled. An urban legend, they said. He must have exaggerated. But Tyler knew the truth. In the white harshness of the hospital room, he felt the cold edges of fear sharpen into a blade. The kidnapped kidneys case was no longer a campus ghost story, it was his reality. The aftermath and warning. In the days that followed, rumors raced across campus like wildfire. Some whispered that Tyler had staged the whole thing for attention. Others claimed he was too drunk to remember the details, that his story was a half-formed nightmare. Erin, his roommate, set up an online petition demanding a formal investigation. She collected testimonies from students who recounted hearing strange noises near Maple Avenue parties, low moans, metal clinks, and frantic footsteps. Yet the university administration remained silent, issuing only a brief statement that they take all allegations seriously and urge students to avoid unsanctioned gatherings. Tyler tried to return to normal life, but every shadow in the library stacks seemed to lean in toward him. He woke sweaty, jolted from sleep by phantom pricks in his arm. His phone buzzed constantly with messages from concerned friends and a few cynical classmates mocking his kidneyless story. Some even joked about trading their own organs for extra party cred. He deleted the worst messages, but the anxiety didn't fade. The Maple Avenue house, its windows boarded and lights off, a silent warning to passers-by. A support group formed in a cramped campus lounge, a handful of students who'd experienced traumatic events and found solidarity in one another. As Tyler shared his ordeal, tears shone in his eyes, and the group rallied around him. For a moment, he felt less alone. But at night, when the campus lay silent and the wind rattled the old window panes, his mind drifted back to that room on Maple Avenue, to the clinic-like desk and the glint of surgical tools. He wondered who performed the operation and why the perpetrators had never been caught. Erica uncovered a disturbing chat thread on the dark web, where anonymous users boasted of organ harvests and offered twisted instructions on how to lure victims. Video stills showed pale students unconscious in back rooms, their limbs bound, and crude surgical setups. She printed the screenshots and delivered them to campus security, but the screenshots mysteriously vanished from the evidence locker. The police denied they ever received proof. It was as if someone wanted the legend to stay alive, unverified and unsolved. Now, months later, whispers of the kidnapped kidneys case still whisper through dorm hallways. New students dare each other to walk past the old Maple Avenue house at midnight, where the lights are permanently off and the door is boarded. Tales persist of a shadowy figure watching from behind the windows, waiting for the next victim to stumble in drunk and unaware. Tyler, now away on medical leave, warns his friends, don't let your guard down at unsupervised parties. Keep your circle tight, your phone charged, and your instincts sharp. In the darkness between labs and lecture halls, predators hunt, and not every campus legend is just a story.